You tell me when we're live. Yeah, tell you what, why don't you just leave the door open? Can you close the door as well, please, sir? Thank you. Good afternoon and welcome to Ollie Campbell Park, where we are here for the AIL Division 1 game between Old Belvedere Women and Cooke from up north, Belfast, Shaw's Bridge. A historic club. They've had a women's section since 1992.
There you go.
And I'm joined by my co-commentator, Hayley. Good afternoon, Hayley.
Good afternoon.
Kick-off somewhat fumbled by the Cooke over there on the far side. However, the referee said it went backwards. First of all, driving up through the forwards in an attempt to get a solid platform to clear their lines, but there's been a knock-on and a scrum down to Belvedere. So, first scrum of the game. How do you think this game's going to go, Hayley?
I think this is going to be a tight match. It always is between Old Belvedere and Cooke. There just seems to be a long-serving rivalry between the two teams, and it always brings out a really great competition of rugby between the two teams. So it'll be a great contest, and definitely one to watch.
Well, first penalty of the game goes Cooke's way in the scrum. Referee deciding the Belvedere front row was going down. So they get an opportunity now to clear their lines. One assumes this is Amanda Morton clearing the lines for Cooke. Well, she's kept it in field. And immediately being run back. And that's a good siding run. She's beaten 3 or 4 players before setting it up on the halfway line. Gemma Farrell, oh, another penalty given away. Belvedere won't be happy. 2 penalties in the first minute.
Yeah, it's 2 easy penalties there. Scrums can be a bit messy at times and they need time to settle. That one there was clear not releasing there from Old Belvedere, and it was the right call. Penalty there.
Morton again looking for touch, and this time she finds it just outside the 22. And it will be a Cooke throw into the line out.
Referee today is Owen Cross, and he's one of our younger lads in the Leinster panel at the moment. He's on the development panel. He's a referee to watch, and he's definitely showed a lot of potential, and this will be a great match for him to get in the middle of.
Looking at the league table now, results seem to have gone Belvedere's way recently, and now they find themselves second in the first division. Cooke currently in 9th. Powering up through the middle. Good drive, took an extra 10 yards there. Jenny Farrell ships it out to nobody in particular. Oh, it's a bit scrappy. Kick this way, kick that, and this time the Cooke kick goes over the dead ball line.
Yeah, it was a bit of a panic decision there, I think, from Cooke. So may have been better just to carry it in and reset the ball and get the ball through the hands instead of just kicking it away, and now they just kick back possession to Old Belvedere.
Yes, possession being the name of the game here, and Cooke with what was a good position have just kicked it away, really. Unsure quite what the decision is at the end.
There was one of the players was down, which is back up now, so just checking she was okay.
Good long drop out, takes it well past the halfway line where it's fielded, running it back, looking for somebody to pass to. Good break down the sideline. And we've got another penalty. That's 3 penalties conceded now by Old Belvedere very quickly. And again, Dolores Hughes it is who will be looking for the touch find in the Belvedere 22. Well, the ball eventually does find the sideline. Not quite the way that Cooke intended, but they get the throw into the line out. And we're halfway between the 10-yard line and the 22.
It was another missed kick there from Cooke on their penalty, and I think it was caught by Anya Donnelly. She went to clear the lines and just managed to kick it out just beyond our own 22, so it'll be a Cooke put into this line out.
Megan Simpson with the ball in hand, ready to throw it in. Shortened line out for Cooke. And it's worked well. That's good training ground move. Getting outside the defence, but the whistle has gone again.
Yeah, forward pass there, referees is calling it. He was right in line with the ball, deemed it a forward pass and just given the ball there to Belvedere. I've been told I have to make sure I get Gemma's name right this week. Yeah, Gemma Farrell, not Gemma Jackson. So I think the easy way is just call her JJ, as it's a nickname.
Well, she feeds the scrum this time. It's picked up by the number 8. A shoddy pass back to Gemma. She's thrown out an equally loose pass to the winger, and that's put her winger under pressure. Belvedere will do well to retain this possession, and they have done. It now gets shipped along the back line. Elaine Anthony taking it up in contact, setting it up again. Now it's outside the 22, no direct kick to touch now. Tackled into touch, well taken catch though. And another timeout. Clock stopped. Belvedere player down. 2 of them down.
Yeah, I think that's Clodagh done there. He's just taking a knee. See I'm not too sure what's happened to her there now, but clock will be off now, and there'll be some sort of physio come on now and have a look and see what's going on.
She doesn't look too distressed, but down on one knee. Clodagh Dunn, of course, recently playing for Ireland at Rugby League. Gone are the days where doing that would get you banned for life. But how times have changed.
I think it looks like a contact, I think, by the looks of things. So
you saw Kathy Murphy there just checking things out from the sideline, seeing if she needed to warm up a replacement. Doesn't seem to be the case at the moment. Both sides taking the opportunity for a quick chat. We're only 5 minutes into the game, no scorers yet.
I think time's back on here. We're just going to restart with a scrum.
It's a good shot by Belvedere. A lot of pressure put onto the Cooke scrum, but the referee's saying they took it to ground as well. The prone figure of Aisling O'Connell there. Aisling will probably know a few of the Cooke girls, having represented Ulster. As Dolores Hughes comes forward and again looking to pump it into the corner.
And another kick just short.
Charge down. Ball goes loose in the 22. Referee decides there's a knock on by Belvedere, and this is an ideal attacking position for Cooke. Fair few changes in the Belvedere team this week.
Yeah, we're missing a few key players. Unfortunately, Hannah Tyrrell got a knock there in a previous match. She managed to somehow fracture her cheekbone, so she'll be out for a couple of weeks. With Claire Gorman's out as well. Her shoulder's not right. Alva as well. Few girls were just kind of carrying a few niggles, which my physios were advised not to play them this week. So it's definitely, the back line is a much different back line, and it'll be interesting to see how they play now today. Once the ball gets out to them, they haven't had to do much to date, but it'll definitely be interesting to see that how they react to everything now once the ball gets out to them.
Well, I, for one, will certainly be very interested to see how Laura Carthy goes at full-back. She scored 5 tries on her last home game, that game against Ballincollig. So she'll be looking for the extra space. Perhaps the full-back gives her the extra opportunities.
Yeah, she should react well to different spaces. She's a great player and great experience, and especially for her young age, she's definitely another one to watch for the future and has years of rugby ahead of her to play as well.
Referee pulls the 2 packs together, marks the spot for the scrum. As you can see, fine attacking position for Cooke here. There's a bit of a blind side should they need it, but plenty of room on the open side.
Yeah, they've got a strong pack as well, so we'll see if they can even just march this over the try line or just even get them a few yards closer.
Packed quite high on that scrum. But this time Belvedere making sure that it doesn't go down. It's a mix-up between number 8 and scrum half in communication. Allows Belvedere just to put some pressure on. Defensive line is set. Powerful drive through. Rolling as well. The referee giving the penalty.
Well worked by Leslie Ring there. Right, she was straight in over that ball, and there was no way you were going to move her. She's one of our number ones for getting the poach on the ball and just latching on, and it's definitely hard to budge her once you get her into that position.
Tenacious, I think, is the word.
Tenacious.
That's a nice solid kick to touch, relieving a bit of pressure for Belvedere. Close up to the halfway line, and they'll have the throw into this line out.
Yeah, this will be Belva's first line out now, so let's see how they set and see how the throw goes and see how Cooke react as well, and then the defensive line.
Well, with this angle, we'll certainly see if the throw is straight. Oh, Cooke piling through on the loose ball. This could come back on the Northerners' side. Somewhat tepid attack of the line, but it's set up again. They're certainly using their forwards. Scrum half making the usual amateur dramatic cry for penalties. Ball taken into contact, again set up by Cooke. Tia Maguire, she's trying to get that back line going. Referee decides there's a knock on there by Cooke, and Belvedere will be relieved that nothing came of that attack.
Definitely, I think Cooke are really showing what they're made of, and they're really bringing their A game to this match. And like I said at the start, there's always that rivalry between these two teams, and we can never ever go into a match taking it for granted. And similar, Cooke will always come and bring their A game, and Belvedere has to bring theirs too.
They're certainly belying 9th place in the league, Cooke, so far. Putting a fair amount of pressure on the Belvedere, especially up front, especially in the scrum. They obviously feel that they have a strength there.
Yeah, their pack will be strong. They've got a lot of experience in their pack. They've got a lot of strength in their pack, and you can see it. Belvo are starting to really struggle with it. They just need to get their technique a bit better here, Belvo, and really try and get them on the back foot and get that extra drive and push them back. At the moment, Cooke are getting that first step in, which is making it a lot harder for Belvo to get back on it.
4 interprovincials in that Cooke pack, and that's a very strong. Well cleared by Gemma. Skip pass out to the wing. Taken to ground. Decent kick. Is there a decent chase to go with it? Carried back to the halfway line. Cooke certainly dominating possession in this first quarter. Tia Maguire waiting on the ball. Out to Amanda Morton. She spins it wide. And that's a good tackle. The line coming up very quickly, snuffing out that attack, and in fact have pushed Cooke back good 8 or 9 metres. Maguire again, this time using the forwards. And that's a good pass into the gap. Morton distributing well from out half, and this time a little grubber kick put through. One felt that maybe Cooke had numbers on the outside there and instead it's given Belvedere a chance. Unfortunately, drop pass has given Cooke the scrum. That was a shame. There was a good chance of a counter-attack there.
Yeah, I think Laura just took her eyes there off the ball, and the ball's fumble initially went back, and then it just knocked on again, and it came forward then on second bit of contact. Both, I think Belvedere look a bit flustered here, and they need to settle into the game a bit, and they just need to kind of keep pressing on their line speed. They had a few kind of nice breaks there, nice pushes where they came up in a line and came up in speed, and that seemed to have dwindled a bit there, and hopefully we can get that back.
I think you're spot on there. Belvedere just slightly, I wouldn't say rattled, but certainly not settled yet. They know they're in a match already. Nearly 15 minutes gone, still scoreless. As the physios clear the pitch. Never so much water being carried so far. Tia Maguire now with the scrum right in the middle of the pitch. Amanda Morton has taken up position on the left-hand side. Speaking to her centre colleague, Carol Lapsey.
You can see the ref has switched sides there now, so he's clearly not happy with something going on this side of the scrum, so hopefully he'll be able to have a look and see what's going on a bit closer.
Again, the strength of the Cooke scrum gives them a solid platform. Breaking away from it there, Helen McGee. And now the ball comes out again. Belvedere just can't get hold of the ball at this stage. And Cooke haven't been able to capitalise on the amount of possession held. Helen McGee again, taking it into contact. Referee keeping a close eye on the offside line. Ball comes out. They go left this time. That pass may have... Well, the referee was in the right place. He's certainly closer to the action than I am. Scrappy ball. Belvedere on it quickly. Referee could award a penalty here and does for holding on. And Tia Maguire disappointed with herself. Belvedere go quickly. Finally had the ball in their hand. Driving forwards again. That's good play. The referee's going to... Yes, the referee had to. You can't lie on the ball like that and then use your hands. Driving over the ball again, Belvedere. Cooke doing their best to disrupt. And that's a lovely run, beating 2 or 3 defenders before setting up another ball, another ruck. Jenny Farrell puts in the up and under over the top, but it's well taken by Dolores Hughes. She makes a few yards before she's brought down to ground, and again, Cooke now have the ball again. That's a hell of a run there by Aisling O'Connell, one of the interprovincial players for Cooke. But another knock on and another call for the physios. Players down all over the pitch, I can see at the moment.
Seems to be a clash there between, I think it's Jan and Vic. Jan seems a bit unstable there, so we'll have to see. I don't know whether it was a knock to the nose or what it is. Two seem to clash there in the middle of the pitch, but earlier on there was another penalty there, and it was Leslie once again poaching it over that ball, and like I said earlier, once she gets in that position, she's very, very hard to budge, so it's 2 penalties against Cooke, 2 penalties for Leslie.
We used the word tenacious earlier on, and there she is showing exactly what an open side flanker should be doing, scavenging.
Yeah, it looks like the ref's taking a water break here now as well, which I think is a good idea. Just let the girls take a little breather, get some water on board, aid the girls who need a bit of aid, and hopefully we'll be able to restart on a bit of a cleaner slate going forward.
Well, we certainly know the clocks have changed now, as early as it is pitch black outside this well-lit pitch. Still a decent crowd here watching today. I'm sure a few had been to the Ireland-Japan game, and a few more had been here for the Belvedere men's game earlier on. But always good to have a an audience, a crowd, including 20-something of you watching here on YouTube.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to make a sub here now. So it looks like, I think Ciara Dwyer is going to be coming in for Jan, I think, by the looks of things.
That's Jan Carroll, who came into the second row in a change from the last home game. And who did you say had come on?
Ciara Dwyer.
Ciara Dwyer, all the way from Tullow.
That's it. Yeah, John seems to get a bit of a knock to the nose there. Seems to be a bit of blood, so whether it's a blood sub and they might bring her back on, or she might be off for the rest of the game now, but time will tell.
So for possibly the first time in this game, Belvedere actually had possession of the ball in the Cooke half.
Cooke have been doing well, all right, keeping them outside of their half, and they've been making Belvo work for every ball, and they're up in their faces, making them make mistakes and not giving them any time to create any space either.
Yeah, Belvedere playing against the wind in this first half. It's not a particularly strong wind, but any breeze there is certainly blowing from left to right on your screen. As Gemma Farrell pops it into the scrum. It's gone down again, and this time the referee has decided that it's Cooke who have infringed, taking the knee. And Belvedere take the tap penalty and go quickly again, looking for space and finding contact. Farrell again. Anya Donnelly. Skip pass and has given some space. Cutting back in before she got to the touchline. That ball should come back again. Gemma Farrell, Donnelly into the midfield, and the referee has decided to award the penalty. Nothing was going much there, and again a quick tap from Belvedere. They're keen to keep possession and keep the ball moving. Back out along the back line. Going wide again. There could be space here. Takes on the tackle, gets the ball away. And this time, unfortunately, holding on. Was that Kate Balance?
It was Kate Balance, yeah. She just was exposed there. She was put into a bit of space, and unfortunately there was no one there to support her. So once she got tackled, Cooke were straight over on it, and they got the poach on, and nobody could clear out in time.
So Dolores Hughes were once again more medical attention needed, but Dolores Hughes has the ball in her hand, and she'll be the one who'll be looking to clear Cooke's lines. Cooke, of course, who share their ground with Estonians as well up there in Shawsbridge. Cooke were founded in 1910. I'm sure that's around the same sort of time as old Belvedere.
Wasn't far off, all right.
And of course, Cooke won the AIL Division 2 in 2014. Although this hasn't been the most successful season for them so far. 5 games played, just the one victory to show for it.
Yeah, they've been through ups and downs the last number of years, and you know they've always had that kind of fighting spirit, and they've always kind of come back from even a slow start in seasons and things like that. But they definitely are still a team to keep an eye on, and they're not ones that you can definitely go and take your eye off at all, because like that, if they get any sort of sniff of opportunity, they'll take it, and they'll definitely take their opportunities when they arise.
And Hayley, with regards to the AIL league, how many go down, come up?
So at the moment, there's a slight change to it. So the IRFU made it a 10-team league. So now it's just the one league, and it's going to be, I think it's frozen like that and everything for 2 years, and then from there there'll be a regrading. But it's a 10 league team or 10-team league now. So they brought it up from, I think it was 7 before, with the addition of Ballincollig, Wicklow, and Malone. I think are the three newbies. So yes, now it's going to be it's 10 teams, and it'll be top 4, then play off. They go into the semi-finals of the AIL. And then they'll be the finals.
Of course, in these COVID times, it's all very up in the air as to what happens. Certainly most sports have had to adjust and change the way they play or their league structures to keep us all safe during these COVID times.
Yeah, with this league as well, it's the same where they have the if it's a case where one club has come down with COVID and it seems to be a bit amongst the team, it'll be declared a 0-0 draw. Both teams will just get a point each into the league, so that can disrupt the table a bit and in some of the results. We've had a few of those already this season, but hopefully it's okay.
Now that certainly is a great help to me. It certainly explains how Railway Union have drawn 2 games.
That's it, exactly. Yeah, they had two cases where I think it was the opposition. I'm not 100% sure now, but there was two teams, 2 results where they went 0-0 and they both had draws, so that can skew the table slightly a bit.
But certainly not to Railway's benefit. They're undefeated, even including those 2 draws. But now the ball's gone out to the left wing. Alana O'Carroll flying down that left wing, making great ground. And I think this is where Belvedere will look to exploit. Even with the many changes in the back line, one feels this is the way for Belvedere to profit. And they're driving up the middle now, making the most of it. They seem to have settled down and got over their early nerves. And this is a fabulous drive. It's gone as far as the line. The referee's having a look. He said it's held up. But my goodness, that was a fine show of pressure there from Belvedere pack.
Yeah, it was a great line break from Vanessa, and Alana was there on the support. That's what we need to see more of, exposing space and taking it on and, using our speed on the wing where we can. Cooke did well there to hold up that ball, and the referee was in a great position to see it.
So one of the new innovations, one of the new rule changes, drop out 22 from the line. So an old fogey like me looks very much like rugby league, but obviously the guys in charge have made the decision. Cooke earned another penalty. I noticed you're taking note of the penalties. What's that, 4 against Belvedere now?
6 against Belvedere and 4 against Cooke at the moment, yeah. So it's quite high. 10 penalties in 25 minutes is quite a high penalty count. So hopefully both teams can kind of just keep them down a bit and, just keep the discipline in check.
Oh, touch judge was a bit premature with the flag going up there, but no harm, no foul. The ball skipping into touch, and Cooke will be looking to get this one back into play. Their throw in from the penalty.
Let's see how Belvedere react to this line out now, and hopefully they can get a hand to it and just disrupt it a bit.
Referee checking the gap between the line out. Belvedere looking to lift at the front. She's up there an awful long time, and the flat throw goes to the back, and Cooke get it away. Maguire again playing it into midfield. This time the forwards taking it on again. Defensive line well set for Belvedere. Fabulous tackle that. I think that was Leslie Ring again. Blind open side flanker's job. Superb. And it's turned around. That's the value of a good number 7, and Leslie Ring certainly doing a good job so far, and that's a good drive through the middle. It's opened up some space on the right hand side for Belvedere. Good long pass. Oh, just evading the winger's hands. I felt personally there, Hayley, shipping it through the hands and drawing defenders may have been the way to go.
Definitely, it was a 4-on-2, I think, on that one. I didn't see a replay of it, but I think it looked like a 4-on-2, hands through. In that case, it can look well to get the ball straight out to the wing, but it's an easy way to shift the defence across, and the same goes straight for it. Whereas if you bring it up and attack and pull out a defender each, you'll have a 2-on-1 on the outside.
Megan Simpson now preparing to put this one in. Will Belvedere challenge? They certainly go up, but it's well slapped back by the second row there. Saoirse McLavin. It's Tia Maguire, brings it out. Passed on again. Trying to play the ball out of the tackle. Instead having to go to ground. There could be a break on here. Referee's just seen that there's a knock on.
That was unfortunate there. It was Ciara O'Dwyer just bounced on the ball there when she saw it. It was out in open play. Dove on the ball and tried to get it back, but I think just lost contact with it there in the midst of it all, and just a slight knock on, and ref's giving the scrum to Cooke.
So unlike the previous game event against Ballincollig, this one is still scoreless. Clock on your screen showing 29 minutes. Clock on the scoreboard is stopped.
Yeah, it's been a few stoppages, so I think it'll be a bit more time to be played on it. I'd say we're probably more close to the 27-minute mark. I'd say there's been a few stoppages between injuries and the likes.
Yes, after that first 5 minutes, I thought the injury time was going to be longer than the first half. Cooke using the power of their scrum again. Belvedere trying to hold it up, but the referee's arm stays resolutely down. He allows Cooke to pick up, reset, and Belvedere have come away with it. Committing the defender. Cooke line shuffling across as the ball comes out. Laying out. Ball out to the far side. It's a tackle now. The referee saying no release. As another player hits the ground.
Laura Carthy down there just taking a knee. Might have just been a bit of a knock in contact there. Seems to be okay.
That one doesn't make touch. Cooke goal gets away from the chaser. Rain Anthony there, fully involved in the tackle. She'll need to roll away from that. She's trying to show the referee she's trying to. Ball gets shipped away. Out of contact. Belvedere over the top. And sealing off by Belvedere cost them another penalty.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. I thought Vic had done enough there to earn Belva the penalty there, but ref wasn't too happy with it, so needed her to roll away and get out of the way, but instead he gave it as sealing off and another penalty to Cooke.
That one also not finding touch. One of the three Belvedere players who were guarding that touchline have made sure the ball stayed in play, and it's Belvedere ball. And again, the referee penalising Belvedere. Far too many penalties being given away.
Yeah, I feel the ref could start having a chat with both teams, just kind of saying, look at the penalty count there now, and cards may be issued if this continues, because 8 penalties for one team alone is a lot to have in the first half. First half an hour, and then even the first half.
Nice solid kick to touch there. Cooke re-entering the Belvedere half. Bit of a discussion as to where this one's going in the line out. Hope somebody's told the hooker. One to the back. Belvedere managed to snaffle it. And that's a superb run. She's beaten 2 tacklers. The third one just hanging onto her hips long enough to bring her down. Another big drive up the middle, hitting the line with pace. Gemma Farrell there claiming, and she was absolutely taking out the number 9 without the ball. Another tap and go from Belvedere, and now kicked into the 22 where the fullback has put it down. It's loose. Regathered by Cooke though, and the drama averted. Cool to drive it up again. They've now taken it outside the 22. Belvedere lacking numbers on this blind side now. Aisling O'Connell, she's got at least 3 to mark there. It's the kick downfield. Well taken, bit of space to run. Nice pass out of contact there. They'll be looking to go right again. That's a lovely run at the defensive line. Takes Belvedere up to the 10-yard line. Coming back the other way now. Big forwards waiting to take it on. Nice sidestep, gets her past the first defender. Another couple of yards made. Sonia Donnelly taken down, but she's earned the penalty.
I think she was lucky there. She was really, really exposed, and it was only that the Cooke girl didn't roll away.
Again, Belvedere going with the quick tap and go, hoping to take advantage of disorganisation. However, once you get to a rock, Cooke very quick to get the defensive line set again. Still going down the blind side. Shimmies past the first. Advantage here to Belvedere. Shooting up out of the line quickly. Cooke trying their best to defend here. There are numbers out to the left now if Belvedere decide to use the back line, but at the moment they're quite happy to allow the forwards to drive and drive again, hoping to suck in the cover. Aisling O'Connell is out in this wing and she's just waiting for the ball. Jenkins side there. Donnelly. And again back to the forwards to drive, to set it up. Plenty of numbers to the left, very few to the right. Another dead Belvedere player off to the right there. Just a couple of yards short now. Gemma Farrell, she could look to go herself here, but she ships it out. Sonia Donnelly. Good tackle right in the corner, keeping that line intact. And it comes back again across. Still advantage to Belvedere. The referee's right hand is outstretched. And this is a superb run by Alice O'Dowd. Slightly crab-like across the field, but she was making ground, and the referee goes back for the penalty.
Yeah, that was an exciting piece of play there, and there's definitely a few girls down injured after that, and I'm not surprised. It was an intense phase of play by both teams, and Cooke did super defensive work there, and Belvedere just couldn't break them down whatsoever. It was there was absolutely no gaps, no spaces created whatsoever, and Belvedere just struggled there to break through in any shape or form.
Yes, fine defence by Cooke, keeping the score scoreless as we enter into what could be the last 5 minutes of this first half. Well, certainly the last 3 minutes of the first half plus injury time.
That's it, exactly, yeah. And it'll be interesting to see if they opt for the kick just to get a few scores on the scoreboard. I'd say with the form they're in now, they've gained a bit of momentum. They'll go for the tap.
Well, they've gone to the pack on the right, and they've driven to the line, they've driven over, and that's the first try for Belvedere, right under the post. The happiest person on the pitch is probably Gemma Farrell, who 2 weeks ago had to keep taking conversions from the sidelines. This one's right under the post, and Gemma's probably not going to be the kicker.
Yeah, well, she seems to have the ball there now, so I'd say she'll take the kick, but she'll definitely be happy with that one under the post. It was a great finish and a great drive by Alice O'Dowd.
Well, it's been an even game so far. Both teams making use of the ball. There's just a few too many penalties. In fact, there's probably more penalties than knock-ons today so far.
Definitely handling errors have been minimal. All right, there's only been a handful of them really, pardon the pun, but it's yeah, no, it's been good in that aspect. It's a nice day for rugby. It's dry. It's not too cold. You know, hands shouldn't be too cold, and but the penalty count is definitely far too high.
So Gemma Farrell pops over the conversion. Touch dodges flags up to the sky. and that makes the score 7-0.
Yeah, that'll do great for Gemma's confidence after that, so it'll be good to get the scoreboard ticking over and to be up to 7-0 now, and hopefully Belva can keep up the forward momentum and go from there.
Cooke will feel pretty hard done by. They've had the majority of possession in this first half, but certainly in the last 10 minutes Belvedere have taken a grip on the game, a grip on the ball, and they slowly but surely pushed Cooke back a yard at a time until they reached the try line.
Yeah, I think the minimal handling errors is definitely suiting Belvedere at the moment, because the scrums are definitely being dominated by Cooke.
Beautiful take by Vic O'Mahony. She makes 10-15 yards, even a bit further, but no release there. She earns a penalty for a side.
Yeah, and he's just touched the ground. Ref called release and the player didn't release it, so sometimes those calls can go 50-50, but ref was spot on with that one.
I tend to find that those calls always go against the team I'm following. It's a decent kick. Finds touch inside the Cooke half. The breeze seems to have picked up, if anything, during this first half, and it'll be in Belvedere's favour for the second half. Rachel Murphy with the throw-in, but it's come back on the Cooke side. Maguire passing it out, using her forwards. They're keeping their feet as much as they can. Come back down the blind side. Well tackled. Helen McGee not getting any opportunity to make any ground. But again, another penalty against Belvedere. Another penalty for Cooke. And they'll be looking for the touchline here. As we head into time added on for injuries. And in fact, it's Laura Hughes is coming up from fullback, the Ulster player. She'll be looking for 20-30 yards down the sideline. That's a fine kick. Comes out about 10 yards. 10 yards, how old am I? 10 yards away from the 22. 3 inches off a metre.
That was a good kick, and much cleaner than the previous few kicks, and she's definitely making touch a lot better now, and hopefully the confidence stays and they can make those kicks a lot cleaner and, you know, get a bit of a better advantage from those penalties.
Well, they haven't got much time in this first half now to take advantage of that wind with their kicks. One feels that Belvedere will be glad to be playing with the wind in the second half. It's a good line out, but it's been snaffled. Gemma Farrell using the players outside her, and that's a fine drive. She's made an extra 10 yards just by staying on her feet. And now it's being played through the hands into midfield. She gets down in the tackle. Cooke are driving over the ball, and it's very messy. Oh. That was slightly offside. And again, another quick tap and go. They're looking to get Aisling O'Connell away on this wing, and she finally gets the ball. She's been hunting the ball down in this first half. Finally gets a chance with a little bit of space. The land. Again, pull me up on everything I do, Avon, please. Going to the right again. Through the hands. That's a nice round break, taking out 2 defenders, 3 defenders. Surely there's a bit of room somewhere on the pitch now. Driving into the midfield, almost getting away. Desperate tackle to bring her down, but the ball comes back quickly and it's shipped to the left again, inside, and then unfortunately had to stop to take that one. And singling off again by the Belvedere players, just throwing themselves on top of that. And that's given Cooke another penalty, another chance to clear their 22.
Yeah, I think that ball needed to be brought in. There was no need for that last pass. I think it was from Alice to Vic. There was no need. It should have been taken in and reset instead of the hospital pass was given, and the penalty was the outcome of that one. That's Belvedere's 10th penalty in one half is an extremely high number. I'm surprised the ref hasn't looked to a warning either side.
Well, I think the fact that the penalties have been even between both teams has meant that the ref hasn't felt the need to go to his pocket. If it was all one team conceding penalties, there would have been a call by now.
I'm just surprised he hasn't said it to both captains, kind of pulled them both in and said, you know, these are the stats and it needs to be looked at.
That one wasn't quite straight, but the referee's more than happy to let it go. And that's a good run by Alice O'Dowd. She's made 20, 30, 35, 40 yards on that. Goes to ground. Gemma Farrell just pushing her forward out of the way, who had the audacity to think about picking it up. And a loose pass means that Cooke have been able to clear their lines. And it's a line out to Belvedere just outside the 22.
Yeah, it was a good phase of play. Again, another great carry from Alice, and to be able to break 2, 3, 4 defenders in that situation and keep carrying and stay on her feet as well is brilliant stuff. It was just unfortunate there with the last rip of the ball going into contact.
One loose pass will do that. So Rachel Murphy now put this one in. Well taken by Elaine Asney, and a good drive. Ball comes back to, the referee saying truck and trailer, I think there. Accidental offside, crossing, call it what you will. It results in another penalty to Cooke. I was going to say she hasn't made much ground there, but of course she knew it was the last play of the first half, and that takes us to half-time, and Old Belvedere leads through that one try from Alice O'Dowd, and it's 7-0 to Old Belvedere. A very competitive first half, though, Hayley.
Extremely competitive, and you know, like we said at the start of the game, it was one of these games that Cooke always seem to bring their A game to, and we can't switch off in any shape or form. Like that with Belvedere too, you know, the pack is still pretty strong, but the back line is almost brand new. Like the 3 girls I mentioned earlier, as well as then Elise is also not available, and Grace Miller as well. So it's 5 of our starting back line aren't available.
So during our half time now, we're joined in the commentary box by Jenny Murphy. So Jenny, what did you think of the first half?
To be honest, not the finest spectacle of rugby or women's AIL I've seen. Scrappy from both sides, a lot of error counts. I think players from both teams will know that they can definitely do better, both physicality wise, but also just making those decisions on the pitch. There's been some decisions that we mightn't be happy with upon reflection, looking back on it, but hopefully a good second half coming up, and I'd imagine Johnny and Nora are going to have some stern words with the Belvedere girls anyway, and hopefully we'll see a lift in the second half.
An awful lot of penalties in that first half.
Yeah, again, it goes to kind of scrappiness, a good bit at the breakdown, some coming in from the side, dying at the ruck, or holding on to the ball. So it's definitely an area that we have worked on in the past, but it's not been the best today from both sides. And the ref's calling it out. So there is you can hear the whistle an awful lot, but I think that's on the teams rather than the ref, and we just need to do better.
Well, it's certainly been a very close game. You wouldn't say this was second from top and second from bottom, would you?
No, to be fair, like Cooke are getting stuck in when they're putting ball through hands and building up a few phases, they do look dangerous. I think like it's, in terms of conditions, it's dry out. There is it's a bit cold out there, so, but I don't think that's any excuse for some of the handling. So yeah, like hopefully in the second half Belvedere can kick on, but again, I wouldn't put it past Cooke to, they're still dangerous in parts, And if they look to kind of exploit out wide, we've been looking narrow a few times. So it's something to just keep an eye on.
And at the start of the game, Belvedere, I wouldn't say they were rattled, but they seemed to take a while to find their composure.
Yeah, bit slow off the mark. I think we gave away a penalty after 30 seconds, just people slow to support and get into the ruck. So that's obviously, in terms of games and stuff, as players we always want to look back, and even if we haven't had the finest of performances, you should be able to always mark your effort at least an 8 out of 10 all the time, because that's something you can constantly control, even if maybe your hands are off boot, you're having the finest day at the office. So listen, that's something that I imagine is going to be mentioned at halftime as well. Like, we just need to do better and help out our teammates that little bit more. And yeah, we'll go from there. I'm trying to be positive all around. It's coming.
I feel that both sides are feeling the same way at this stage, that they've both had opportunities, may not have made the most of the opportunities they've had, but there's not much tweaking that needs. Either side needs to step up the game a lot here.
No, I think it's from our point of view, maybe taking a little bit less out of the ball and spreading it a bit quicker. So just even we're creating 2v1s and not giving it when we should, or holding on to it and carrying it when we shouldn't, or spreading it out wide when we do need to do a little punch up the middle, and that's both sides as well. I think there's space is definitely there, but both Cooke and Belvo aren't having a look up and kind of exploiting that or going after the areas that should be kind of looking to. So there's space in the backfield as well that haven't been exploited, and we might see a little bit more of a kicking game in the second half.
Yes, certainly Belvedere will be playing with any breeze. It seems to have dropped away a bit now, but any breeze there is will be behind them. And you think that Donnelly will be looking to kick to the corners or just kick down the field just for territory? I think
use the tram lines, try and put Cooke under a bit more pressure and get them running backwards and getting a solid, Belvo line up, putting pressure and no dog legs. It's a little bit fractured at the moment defense-wise, so I think if we get that set and everyone knows their roles a little bit quicker, we can be a bit sharper off the mark and go from there. And same for Cooke. I think the wind will slightly favour Belvo now in this second half, so I'd imagine Cooke will kind of play closer to the deck for the next 40 minutes.
Well, that's nearly the half-time over. Belvedere slowly but surely will get ready for the second half. And you'll excuse us now, we now pay our sponsors. So many thanks to Jenny Murphy there for joining us in the box. Her views, it's nice to hear from somebody who's been on the sideline as opposed to a couple of people who've been sitting in the warmth of inside, watching this on the monitor and watching it through the window. I don't see any changes on either side. Oh, I do see a change on the Belvedere side. Is that a change? Somebody coming off?
Elaine Anthony seems to be off, so I'll have to have a look and see who's on. My suspicions would be Nevo Dowd on, but I have to see that.
Well, that's the second row of Belvedere completely changed now.
Or potentially it could be Jan back on. Yeah, I think Jan's back on the pitch.
That one's been allowed to bounce and it's run into touch. It will be a Belvedere throw, but really kickoffs shouldn't be allowed to bounce at all.
Yeah, I mean, Belvo need to be coming out here with all guns blazing on this one, and to be allowing the ball just bobble into touch like that off the restart kick isn't the most ideal restart.
Matter of taking responsibility for it, calling.
That's it. We're always told put a name on it, and then everybody knows whose responsibility it is.
Slightly overthrown by Belvedere, allowed Cooke to crush through the line out, and they'll have the ball on the 22. Maguire into Beth Cregan, captain of Supplier. Comes out wide again. Good skip pass. Good defensive line as well by Belvedere, but the ball has come loose. 1-on-1. Suddenly becomes 1-on-3. Ball's still on the Cooke side, but she could be isolated there. Referee decides the ball is coming out. There it is. Crashed up the middle again. Cooke making the far brighter start to this second half. Out to the winger. It's come back on the Belvedere side. Gemma Farrell. Referee calling a high tackle and turning off the clock.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be two. The girls kind of got caught up in a bit of a tangle there, and ref just want to stop it and just cool the heads a bit on both. I think there's definitely frustration on both sides with like that, silly errors and mistakes on both sides. You can see now the ref's going to call in both captains just to have a chat and get the girls to cool the jets a bit, I think.
Dolores Hughes having come all the way up from full back. Belvedere captain is
Gemma Farrell. I think Bell will be looking now just to clear the lines and get the ball out of their 22. As is, like you said, Cooke had the bit of a brighter start, so just clearing the lines and getting out of here will be the objective of this one.
That's a fine kick, taking it up to the 10-metre line. And again, Belvedere want the ball from this line out. Referee deciding it went out exactly on the line. It's amazing how many times it does that.
Have to make our lives a little bit easier on these situations.
Nicely taken. Offside, playing the ball in front. That's an unfortunate penalty to give away, especially in this position. Maguire immediately setting up a forwards to drive it on. And they've made 10-15 yards without being stopped. Scrum half will be looking to go right again. Morton running in a circle, really. Wasn't decisive enough in her action, and it caused her to get thumped. Beth Cregan again driving it up off the first rock. Carolyn McCormack there, second row for Cooke. Using her strength to drive the ball up a bit. Comes out to the right. Oh, did well to hang on to that. He felt she wanted to drop it. And again, just like the first half, Cooke getting the possession at the start of the second half, getting the pressure on. Maguire trying to decide which way to go. Chose the right. Couple of skips, and now the ball comes back out to the left. Another drive up there. Van Straten. A good drive. Tackler getting away. Another yard or two made. Goes out to the right. And she's through. And she's through all the way. And there we go. Cooke are on the board. Try scored. We'll try and identify the try scorer.
I think it was Dolores Hughes, their captain, I think, had that the line break and got through and took the opportunity. And like I said, you know, once they see that opportunity, they're not afraid to take them on. And, you know, chances taker, risk takers get rewards.
So one try each now. Only difference between the sides at the moment. Gemma Farrell's conversion of old Belvedere's try. Cooke will now try to draw level with this kick. Our roving camera person there in your picture, getting close. That's how close she's got to this conversion.
90 seconds work, girls, yeah? 90 seconds, that's all this.
It's a decent kick, and it's gone over, and the scores are level. Once again, Cooke off to the brighter start of the half, and this time they've made it pay with a try, and that takes the score up to 7-all.
Yeah, Cooke have really come out in the second half, all guns blazing, and you know that's what you want to see from a team of a second half. You want to see that the coaches' speech to them at halftime has had an impact, and that they're ready to get stuck into everything, and you know take those opportunities when they arise. And you know he saw that gap and she took it, and like that got her try, and was able to get a little bit closer to the post, and then subsequently get the conversion too.
Another kick-off allowed to bounce, and that's into touch.
Just at the 22-yard line there now for Old Belvedere, with a line out to Old Belvedere, so hopefully now we can see, or is it a Cooke line out?
Substitution being made by Belvedere, number 20. Jenny Finley?
That's Jenny Finley coming in now, yeah, so we'll see who she's swapping in for. I think she'll be swapping in for, who's that, Vanna Dempsey's coming out. So Jenny's a player with us for many years, but she took a bit of a break there. She joined the Guards and was down in Templemore, but she's able to come back and commit now again to playing, so it's great to have her back on the team.
Gemma Farrell taking that ball down from the line out, going down the blind side. Now it's coming out wider, driven into midfield. It's there again. This time, good drive up the middle. This is an opportunity for Belvedere. Kicked, cross, onto it quickly, and oh my goodness, that looked like a high tackle at the very least.
Yeah, if it's not a try, it should be a penalty try, because she was taken out by a very high tackle there on that one, in my opinion now. But see what the referee has his touch judge there, so we'll see what he decides.
We'll see that on the replay, no doubt. Unlike the referee, we get a second bite at the cherry, but it certainly seemed like a desperation tackle that just went too high. She's taken the ball, she's in for all money, and then is just scragged.
Yeah, referee has given a penalty try on that one there, and I think that's the correct call. It was last player through, and it was just a high tackle, and it was taking Kate Balance there out of the game and unable to score her try that she was 1-on-1 on.
Well, foul play, stopping a certain try. That's 7 points. There's no need for a conversion these days. It's just assumed, and a penalty try worth 7 points. And that puts Belvedere 14-7 into the lead.
Yeah, and that's what Jenny was saying at the half-time there, when she was saying that we need to start utilising kicking, and you know, those risks that we need to take, and like I said before, risks result in rewards at times, so we need to start doing these kicks and seeing where the space is and going for it a bit more. There was a great kick and a great weight from Moni Donnelly on the kick, and a great finish by Kate.
Well, the referee has decided that rather than it didn't go 10, Belvedere taking the line out.
I think that's a smart option. Cooke had the upper hand on the scrums in the first half, so I think the more they can avoid them, the better. So I'd be opting for the line out too on this one.
Nicely taken in the line out. Now it goes across the back line, but that's a drop ball. The referee's going to ping that very quickly. Cooke will be delighted that they've managed to make 10, 20 yards from the halfway line without doing very much.
Yeah, and it was, you know, in a case where it could have been a scrum in the midfield to Belvo, it's now suddenly a scrum to Cooke in between the 10 and the 22 metre.
Now Cooke will be looking to make sure that the scrum stays strong. It does. It allows Maguire to go down the blind side. She snaffled quite quickly though. Maybe discouraged from doing that again. Belvedere driving over the ball. Cooke having to ship it away from contact. And Megan Simpson doing very well there, making ground up the middle, setting it up. Kaylin McCormack again driving up. But this time the referee, long open blast. And it's another quick tap. They're looking to go quickly, utilise the speed on the outside. Kate Balance bringing it back in field and sailing it up. Well picked up by Donnelly at out half. Then unfortunately it goes loose, and that looked like Beth Cregan just putting a foot to it, and that wasn't what was needed. It's a bit scrappy. Needs a bit more control than that. That one's gone loose. Laura Hughes having to go down on that one. And finally the referee deciding another penalty to Cooke.
Yeah, I think it was just their player was going in to contest for the ball and just went off their feet and sealed the ruck, so it was a fair call on the penalty. So again, another scrappy bit of play and a few kind of bobbly balls and loose at the back of ruck, so you know both teams need to kind of tidy up their rucks and just securing the ball at the back of them.
Fine kick, making a safe touch, making sure that Cooke get the line out. Again, Belvedere just seemed not to be shaken, but stirred.
That's it. Both teams are reacting well now to each other's kind of open their game, and you know, let's see if it's sustainable now for the rest of the half.
You can see the strength of the wind from that floated pass out to the midfield, where it's taken into another ruck. Set up, Maguire waiting at the bottom. She gets the call from the blind side. Carolyn McCormack again carrying up for Cooke. Little half break, snaffled out by the old Belvedere defence. The line is solid at the moment. McCord there, testing the defence again, and this time Amanda Morton puts the kick through on the ground. I don't know if she knew that the penalty was coming.
I think she might have known it was an advantage, all right. It would be a funny kick to put in just out of nowhere, so I think she knew it was advantage was called. But like that, you know, they need to take these opportunities. You know, both sides are not giving much space in the defensive line, so shaking it up a little and, you know, putting these little dinks through or chips over the top are, I think, going to be the options for the rest of this half to try and break the defensive line.
Well, Belvedere unable to do anything without the ball, and they haven't had it for quite a while. Oh, that kick is sliced horribly off the side of her left boot. Doesn't find the touch she was looking for. So Belvedere kick it out. And instead of a throw inside the 22, instead we're about 10 yards outside. Cooke not making the most of that opportunity. Awful kick sliding off the side of the left boot, kept it in field. Not ideal for anyone.
No, they've been unfortunate with some of their kicks for touch, all right, and you know, there's some kicks that have been absolutely perfect and gained plenty of yards, and some that are just being missed on both sides. So it'd be nice to see them kind of tidied up now as well.
Line-out call agreed. Megan Simpson now finds at the tail. Referee deciding that one wasn't straight enough. And Belvedere opting for the line again. This time it'll be Rachel Murphy throwing it in for Belvedere. Well, that one was certainly straight. Farrell clears it out. Donnelly, another one that slides off the side of the boot a bit. But she gets it down into the Cooke half, where it's been allowed to bounce a couple of times. Lana O'Carroll was following up there, put in a good tackle. As we said at half-time, there's a bit more kicking this half. Oh, that's a lovely kick into space. Question is who's going to get there first, and the referee deciding that the winger possibly was in an offside position in front of the kicker when she set off in pursuit. So another penalty conceded by Belvedere.
Yeah, it was just unfortunate there. Laura was looking for the dink through, and she went to give the kick and then was tackled literally as she was, so she couldn't bring the girls on side, and Kate was unfortunately just ahead of her, and she wasn't able to be brought back on side by the kicker. So right call, penalty to Cooke.
Amanda Morton kicking that one down the touchline, just finding touch, and there it is again. She was just ahead of the ball. It was a very quick replay.
It's another nice attacking position for Cooke, and you know, they've been solid in their lineouts too. They haven't lost many at all, so it'll be interesting to see what they do here now, whether they go for, you know, a down and drive, or if they try and play it out to the backs and create a bit of space. I can see a pod set up outside it, so I'd say that's where the ball's off to.
Instead, it's taken back in. McGuire deciding not to ship it onto the backs or onto the pod. She took it forwards. And that's McCormack again. McCormack has been instrumental in her driving play. Ball on the ground. Picked up again by Cooke. Referee says it's gone backwards. They're getting very close to that Belvedere line now. And that's lost by Cooke. Belvedere has done tremendous work there. Comes back and lines are cleared. Touch is made.
Yeah, that was another, you know, nervous time there for Belvo, and I think there was one or two players that were, the ball was lost and was bobbling on the ground. There was one or two Belvo girls just staring at it instead of diving on the ball, and in that area in your own red zone you need to be diving on that ball wherever you get the opportunity, and the slow reactions like that just aren't good enough in that zone, and you know, we need to be a bit more alert, a bit more aware on those situations.
I think one or two of the women there perhaps considered that they may have been offside and they didn't want to concede a penalty, and so better just to stay away from things.
Yeah, that's it. You know, unless the ref had said something that we couldn't hear from up here, it was, you know, hopefully.
But yeah, you never like to see a ball stationary on the ground and people standing around looking at it.
Yeah.
Good attacking opportunity now for Cooke. They go to the front of the line out. That's a novel pass back to the hooker. Simpson takes it into contact. Belvedere desperately trying to roll away. Don't want to give away the penalty here. Referee having a word. I think he was having a word about Cooke taking it on. Beth Cregan trying to drive into midfield, setting it up. McGuire at the base of the scrum. Floats a pass out. Running back across the angle. That's superb by Lucy Thompson. She just cut the defence apart just by changing the angle she was running at. She came in onto the ball and she has scored right in under the post for Cooke. And one feels that certainly 2 tries each now.
Yeah, that's definitely game on, you know, and like that, Cooke didn't lay off on anything, and they didn't go sleep after the penalty try. They came back roaring, and you know, they're still hungry for this game. They want to come away with this win, and you know, it would be a great win for them to have away from home and on the road, and like that, they're second from the bottom and Belvedere second from the top, so it would be an upset for the table too. So you know, it's definitely not game over in any capacity.
It would certainly make the coach journey back up the M1 a lot happier with a win in their pocket. Well, at the moment, they're aiming for to level the scores, as Amanda Morton is ready to take this kick just to the right of the posts. Well, she's certainly taking her time. And that's why, just to make sure. 14 all then. And here's the replay. Look at, just took the right angle, and once she'd beaten the line, there was nobody in behind to stop her. Morton just gives this pass as she runs back in towards the posts, and that's Super try by Cooke.
Yeah, that's an easy try for Cooke all day. They went straight in between two players, and it was a missed tackle from the two girls, and there was no communication and too much of a gap between them. And neither of them really tried to make the tackle there, and that needs to be better. And especially again in that red zone, need to be tight and communicate and have the girl on your inside and let them know who's got ball. So hopefully now something like that will give Belvo a bit of a scare, and they might up their intensity on their defensive line.
Right, as we head into the last quarter of this game, couldn't be closer, 14 all. Cooke will be buoyed by the fact that they're level at this stage. Belvedere will be hoping to improve matters. I think a few changes being made on the Belvedere side now.
Yeah, you can see Neo Dowd warming up there now, so we'll see who she is coming in for. And I don't think you can argue too much with that scoreline. I think, like that, Belvo played some nice rugby similar of Cooke, and they both have been super strong in defence, and I think a draw is a fair score at the moment.
Well, it certainly reflects how competitive this game is. There's no one-sided game here today, that's for sure.
Definitely not, and it's going to go right down to the wire with this match, and still 20 minutes left to play, and still 20 minutes in both the teams left of good rugby as well. So see how the scoreboard looks at the final whistle.
Certainly one of the factors going into the last 20 minutes will be the players' fitness levels.
Yeah, definitely, and like that, Cooke are only coming down the road with only 4 subs, and they'll have to use them where they can at the wisest points as well, and make sure that they use the fresh legs in their best moments where they can as well.
Yes, just the 4 subs brought down by Cooke, probably due to an injury crisis within the club. Do you know how many teams Cooke run?
No idea.
No, neither do I.
No idea.
I suspect it's more than one.
Yeah, no, I think they've got a few, all right.
And how many women's cricket teams do Belvedere run?
We have two at the moment, yeah. Our seconds are taking on Clondalkin tomorrow in the Leinster League Division 2, so that's here tomorrow at 1 o'clock. So that'll always be a good game. It was delayed from a previous match. It was meant to be about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and hopefully we'll get it played now tomorrow.
Well, if you're not up to anything on a Sunday, don't be afraid to pop down to Ollie Campbell Park. Support the women's seconds. Well, that was a strange kick-off. Landed again, but I thought it landed on the Cooke winger's foot and went in touch.
Yeah, I think it did. Yeah, no, Rachel's picking up the ball there. I think Toucher just has the flag out the wrong way. But it's okay.
Now, this is exactly what Cooke wouldn't have wanted. Straight from the kick-off, they've allowed Belvedere to get into their 22. Now the ball goes back across the back line, and that's a super break. She's still going. Finally dragged down by about the 4th attempt. And the ball keeps going wide. There's plenty of space outside, and that's exactly what Cooke wouldn't have wanted, having spent so much energy getting themselves level that within a minute of the restart, they've conceded another try, this one wide out on the right-hand side. And you know what? There were 3 Belvedere players, any one of whom could have scored that try. Just a lapse in concentration from Cooke. The kick-off went into touch, and from the line-out, Old Belvedere have scored. 3 tries to 2 now, and 19-14. Gemma Farrell now will take the conversion, and here we go. Draw the man and give, and they just ran out of defensive bodies.
Yeah, that was a great carry from Kira up the middle.
Give, draw and give, and then 3 Belvedere players all outside the final Cooke player.
Yeah, it was a super finish by Vanessa as well, and she used her speed just to get around the last few defenders on Cooke and just dot it down in the corner. It was a lovely finish.
That's a lovely camera angle. Shows what a lovely kick it was, and Gemma Farrell, after all her practice 2 weeks ago against Ballincollig, now starting to pop those ones over from wider, and that makes it 21-14 to Belvedere. Now, Belvedere certainly won't want to concede as quickly as Cooke did after they scored. Concentration levels need to be right up here from any restart.
hopefully that'll just settle Belvedere's nerves there a bit. And you know, there was a great reaction from them for the Cooks try. So hopefully now it'll just let them settle, let them finish out the last 15 minutes, and you know, see it through.
Well, Belvedere will look to power on back, perhaps open up this gap a bit, perhaps seeing fitness tell. Belvedere, of course, working with an almost entirely new backline, certainly new three quarters. Good drive brings it play back up to the 10-metre line. Jenny Farrell, she'll tap and go as soon as she hears the whistle for the penalty. Referee playing advantage for not being back 10, but at this stage that arm will drop down. And it's another superb run, and a superb pass has put Elena O'Connell in the clear. She had speed in the first half. This time she's managed to use her speed, ball in hand, and another try. Two very quick tries, and one feels that is going to knock the stuffing out of this Cook side.
Yeah, that was a great finish by Alana on the left wing there. I can't see if it was Kate who made the initial break, or if it was Vanessa on the left side there, but did a great drawing the players, getting around them. I think it was actually Jenny Finley. Yeah, it was Jenny Finley there. So, you know, that's what she brings to the park. She's very mobile, she's very fast, and she's strong, and she can give those offloads when needs be. So
now I know you're wearing your black and white here, very much so, but that final pass, was it perhaps lateral?
No comment. No, it's hard to see it in these angles, but you know, they have touch judges and the referee there for these reasons. So, you know, I'll take a politician's way out on this one.
pleading the fifth on that. Well, as long as we don't have the referee coming up to the bar to have a look.
That's it. And I'm not mic'd up today for the referee, so there's no DMO.
And suddenly Belvedere opened up a two-try gap. Cook need to score 3 to take the lead. And with just over 10 minutes left, that's going to be tough. Concentration levels again are going to be required by Belvedere here.
Yeah, they seem to really have settled into the game now in the last kind of 5-7 minutes, and it's much better rugby they're playing. So hopefully they can just keep that and keep the heads cool for the next 12-15 minutes.
And the forwards have got through a tremendous amount of work in the loose today. That's good work by Cook. They drove Belvedere off the ball. Unfortunately, nobody there to take advantage of it. The kick down the sideline on the 5th or 6th bounce makes it into touch.
The referee has judged that it was touched by a Cook player, so it's a Belvo ball. Belvo put in there.
Not straight as call from the ref. Leslie Ring jumping up the front. Took it on the outside of her body, which I suppose is better than taking it on the inside of her body.
Yeah. And Cook, you can see opting for the scrum now, which is no surprise really, as they've been pretty dominant throughout the whole game in their pack.
Certainly the set-piece scrum has allowed Cook to demonstrate their power and strength. However, at this stage of the game, it becomes less about technique and more about heart and fitness. Tia Maguire now will be wanting to put this one out and get it away quickly. I think we might see that one go in again. What I'd like to see at this stage, Maguire perhaps in the number 8 pick and go blind. Claire Johnson, the left winger, 15 metres from the scrum to the sideline. There's plenty of blind side. She could be 1-in-1. Or a lovely scrum by the Belvedere girls there. Women pushing Cooke back. All game Cooke have been dominant in the scrum, but this time the timing and technique, and indeed the heart of the Belvedere pack. Well, eventually it's found its way to touch, but not by any conventional ways. The kick into the corner, staying in field, and the kick for touch bouncing in. Good attacking position again for Belvedere, as a couple of players make way on the Cooke side for their replacements. Touch judge and referee confirming that there's only 15 aside. Ring gets a hand to it, it comes back to Farrell. Donnelly kicking across field. It beats one player but pops up into the hands of Dolores Hughes again. She makes ground. Big drive up the middle there. Van Stappen again. Ball coming wide again. Belvedere line up very quickly, fine tackling. But they've got the ball away. Beth Cregan again, instrumental in much that Cooke managed. Certainly the forward drive, she certainly makes her ground. Caroline McCormack, another one. Naomi McCord now taking it to ground. Another penalty against Belvedere. That's something the coaches will look at during the week. And the player down on the ground is quite slow getting up. She's okay. Again, Beth Cregan leading from the front. Sometimes you don't need an armband to be captain, and that's what Beth Cregan has been doing today. She has taken the load on for Cooke's forwards. Aisling O'Connell now, bursting up to the 22. That's a fine drive for somebody wearing number 1 on their back. The referee's going back though for another penalty.
Yeah, penalty count has definitely been reduced this half, but I mean it's still creeping up again, and I think that both teams are kind of getting a bit tired now as well, so that'll definitely influence the penalties. But you know, it was definitely a much cleaner second half and a lot less messiness around the ruck and things like that. So I'd say both coaches had a chat with both their teams.
This kick makes it into touch. As our camera scoots down the sideline. Small discussion between Belvedere player and referee.
I'd say they're talking about the last penalty there. It was Vicky Deegan to be off her feet. So I'd say she was asking what does she have to do in future going forward.
Stay on your feet.
Simple as. Kevitt's throw going in there. Referee sending them back to do it again. Not straight, means it's now Belvedere's chance to throw it into the line-out. But again, this time Leslie Ring uses the left hand to good effect. But a knock-on in the backfield for Belvedere has given Cooke an excellent position here. Yeah, it was good reactions from Cooke. They were straight up The line out looked a bit dodgy there. They may have gone the other side, other way. But Leslie, like that, I got her arms to it, played it back, and then just knock on the backfield from the pressure of Cooke coming up in their faces.
Again, an excellent attacking position for Cooke. Maguire about to put in the ball, 15 metres infield. There's a good blind side here. And the referee's awarded another penalty. She's tapped. The referee perhaps suggesting that it wasn't on the mark. And this time she goes again. But of course Belvedere have had time now to retreat 10, set the defensive line. And this could be just become an arm wrestle on the line. Each player taking a turn to drive it up. Dragging her own player out of the rocks. And the referee, I think, has had enough of giving penalties. He's now going to start giving cards.
I think that's the final warning there now.
I think that certainly is, and I think that Gemma Farrell's done a very good job of keeping the referee's hand out of his pocket on this occasion, although if there's another penalty, one feels we're going to see a card of some colour. Not the most subtle of penalty moves, but it's been effective. It's got them to within a yard of the line. I think that's McCormack driving on again. Putting it back, good defence. She's driven across, and that's another super try there. I think that's Van Staten.
I think it's actually O'Connell, actually, I think, by the looks of things. Van Staten's actually got number 3 in her back.
Either way, with only a few minutes left, that will give heart to the Cooke team that they can draw this game. For that to happen, they need this kick to go over.
Yeah, another well-worked try there from Cooke. It was coming, and they were knocking on the door, and there was only so much defensive work Belvo could do, and eventually broke them down and drove over for the try.
So in the matter of this game, this is an absolutely vital kick for Cooke. If they miss this, they'll need to score twice. If they get it, another converted try would bring them level with Belvedere. Amanda Morton then. Very measured. And she's got it, and you can tell from the round of applause she gets from her own teammates. They realised how vital that was. Here's the try again. Ball goes down, and then just one-on-one. She drives, the line finds her. So, 28-21.
Is going to make for a cracking last few minutes of this match now, and it was always going to go down to the wire. So like I said, match is nerve until the final whistle goes. So it will be interesting to see what the scoreboard will say then.
It's exactly how you described it at the start of this. It was going to be a close, tight game, and it certainly has been. This is no runaway victory. And just as you said in the first half, a draw would not be an unfair result for both teams. Now Cooke needs to travel another 75, 70 metres down the pitch. Get the ball over the whitewash one more time. The kick into space. Referee decides that one's gone backwards off the hand. And Cooke retained possession. Gemma Farrell just showing her experience. She's dropped away from the ruck there to cover the space on the blind side. And that's a good drive by Belvedere, just when they needed it. Pushing Cooke back, and there we go, and it's Gemma Farrell who takes that kick, beats 1-2 defenders, going back up the blind side, ships the ball on, but it was her experience in dropping back from the previous ball to cover that space that enabled her to take that catch. Fine bit of rugby brain there. And now from the 10-metre line, Belvedere have a penalty.
Yeah, it was a great take by Gemma. You can see the catch over the head, and it was a fingertip catch brought back into the body, and went to go left, and then so there's more space to the right, so carried it back right, and pulled 2-3 defenders with her, and I think the ref deemed that a no wrap tackle, so penalty to Belbo.
So Belvedere looking to put this one down the line, finding touch, and that's the important thing. Doesn't matter how many yards she makes here, it's the fact that it crosses the line. Touch judge's flag confirms that's exactly what she's done. And this is the part of the field that Belvedere want to remain for whatever added on time there is for injuries. Time up on our clock, but for those of you who've been watching, you'll know there's been a few injuries. Cooke piling through on that one. The Belvedere have done enough to hang on to it. Cooke have a desperate need for the ball now. The defensive line is poised right on the edge of offside. But their discipline staying with them at the moment. Belvedere going down the blind side, making a few yards, but conceding another penalty.
Yeah, that was player just went straight in off the ruck and just sealed it off, and it was as clear as day to the referee, and he was right there, so can't argue much with that one.
A long blast on the whistle allows medical attention to come out. But with this penalty, one feels that Cooke aren't going to kick to touch, but they're going to try and keep the ball in hand.
I think even at this stage, you'd struggle to try and pick a player of the match as well. It's it's been end-to-end stuff really on both sides. So I struggle to try and pick someone. I think Leslie's been absolutely monumental. I think Craig and Hughes have been huge for Cooke as well. I think JJ has also been fantastic for just controlling the back line and controlling the pace of the game too. So it would be near impossible one to call.
Well, from the Belvedere side of things, I think you're right with the first name you picked. I think Leslie Ring has had a fine game. Her work in the line out as well as in the loose. But what they need now is a big effort to hang on to this ball, make some ground. And Lana on that left wing again, looking for space, retaining possession, and that's the important phrase now, retain possession.
You play field position.
The Cooke back line. Oh, that's a lovely kick by Gemma Farrell. She's found touch well inside the Cooke half.
Yeah, it was a great kick, just alleviating the pressure, and they're probably very aware of what's on the clock, so the further they can get Cooke back to the other end of the pitch, the more they have to work to get back up to the try line. So, a smart kick and smart play.
Again, demonstrating a fine rugby brain there, Gemma Farrell. Knowing exactly what was needed at this stage of the game. So it's all going to come down to the next couple of phases of play. Belvedere really need to keep Cooke down this half. Oh, just a mistimed jump by Leslie Ring this time. There's a free kick to Cooke, and this will be a tap and go. It's a free kick. Maguire thought about kicking for touch, but then realised that they'd lose possession. So instead, she takes it 10, 12, 15 yards further forward. Belvedere defensive line well set now. Oh, it's shipped on, and that's all it is. It's shipped on. They've gone back 20 yards, 20 metres. But they've retained possession. While they have the ball, there's still hope for Cooke. They go to the right this time. Pass is made behind. They're up as far as the 10-metre line. Still 60 metres to go. One feels it needs a break. A missed tackle, a Belvedere mistake to let Cooke in at this stage. And they're up quickly again, and that's knocked on, and it's picked up by Belvedere. The referee's going to play advantage to Belvedere. He's looked at his watch. Loose. Laura Carthy doing a fine job, retaining possession, waiting for her forwards to help her out. And time is up. The ball goes off the park, and that's the final whistle, and Belvedere have survived. Great Cooke pressure to win by 4 tries to 3, 28-21. Well, Hayley, what do you think of your views on that game?
Survived is a great word, I think, to describe that one. You know, I think it was, the first half was messy, it was scrappy from both sides. It was, like I said, massive penalty count. I think it was definitely over the 30 mark across the game, which is a massive amount of penalties. I don't think that any of them were exactly incorrect from the ref either. I think it was just general discipline. I think maybe both teams were lucky not to have a few cards as well, just try and get control back on the penalties there. But definitely they certainly survived, and they had the 2 tries in the space of 2 minutes, and I think that was the winner really. And Cooke certainly didn't take their foot off the accelerator at any stage in the game, and you know, definitely could have gone either way that much.
I think you're absolutely right. I think the referee got the amount of penalties absolutely right, but he also played with consideration in that we didn't see any yellow cards.
No, and that's, you know, and I think definitely you couldn't really argue. I'd say if there were a few yellow cards, you wouldn't argue. But similarly enough, there won't be too many complaints that there weren't yellow cards either. So,
no, absolutely, fine game, very competitive game. Exactly what we wanted to see. Certainly what the neutrals wanted to see anyway. Belvedere fans might have preferred a larger scoreline, but that's a good performance by both teams, and they'll have enjoyed that, and Belvedere walk away with the points.
Yeah, and the bonus point is also going to be crucial in this competition, so getting that fourth try is definitely a bonus for the girls as well.
As you say, 4 tries, that means Belvedere have picked up a bonus point in every win they've had so far this season, and that will certainly help them at the top of the table. They were level with Blackrock College before, and now they've certainly put it up to Blackrock. So at this stage, we'd like to thank our camera people, our director, our producer, and all those who have helped put together this broadcast from Ollie Campbell Park. And of course, these things wouldn't be possible without sponsors. Windsor Motors providing great service. Many thanks to Windsor Motors, sponsors of women's rugby here in Old Belvedere. And now we'll take you back through some of the highlights of today's game. Alice O'Dowd's try, just sheer power, leg power pushing her over the line and for that first try. That was probably the best try of the day. Dolores Hughes making the break.
Yeah, it was a great line, great fend, and great footwork as well from Cooke there. Like that, took their opportunities and went for it.
There's the one that I thought could have been a card.
Yeah. I'm surprised there wasn't. Usually a penalty try would result in a card as well, so I'm surprised she wasn't seeing a card there. Unless we missed it. I don't think we did, though.
No, I think she stayed on the field.
Yeah.
I think the referee was quite sympathetic to the teams playing.
Yeah.
It certainly wasn't deliberate foul play. It was just she went for it, and as the player ducked, I think it became a high tackle, and the referee did very well to recognise that and not penalise the side too much. The penalty try was enough. That was Lucy Thompson's try. It's just a super line taken off Morton. Morton gets the ball here and just gets the short pass. It didn't look like too much of a dogleg in the defensive side.
Kathy bowled over with excitement there at the end as well.
And then super try. Try scorer, fullback and winger, all waiting outside as the ball came to her.
Vanessa wasn't going to pass that ball, was she? She was always going to put that ball down.
No, and in fact, if you see that replay again, you'll notice Vanessa actually hitching up her shorts about
Off she
2
goes,
strides before she gets the ball. So she was obviously preparing herself.
She knew she was going to go into full speed.
And then Alana finally getting the chance to spread her legs and scoring the try that her speed deserved. There you go, there's a highlight. The referee giving penalty after penalty. And again, it was great to see so many penalties being tapped and run rather than just hoofing down the field. Both teams very aware that possession is what you need. That's the final kick off the field. That's the end of our highlights. That's the end of our production. Once again, I'd like to thank everybody who made a part of that. And Hayley, when's the next game?
Yeah, playing again next weekend. Actually, I think it's a break weekend then, isn't it? Next weekend, do you remember? I can never remember what day do we. Yeah, I think it's a break weekend actually for the next 2 weekends. I think there's break week next week, and then we have I think the first round of the cup is meant to be the following week, and then we'll be back into the AIL. But the twos definitely have their first game or their game tomorrow, and then they'll have another game after the weekend after that as well.
And the twos game tomorrow kicks off at 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock, Clondalkin down here in Old Belvedere. Yeah. Brilliant.
Well, we say thank you and good night, and we'll wrap it up there. Thank you. Yay! Blue time, blue time.